Ooh,
He's like cute, like
look at that
or
mask.
like pink.
Jordana Brewster, Devon Sawa star in the movie Hard Eyes that opens up this weekend, guys. And this is my formal movie review right here on Mirror Domains. And Hard Eyes is rated R. It's a quick hour and 37-minute movie. The synopsis reads: for the past several years, the Hard Eyes killer has wreaked havoc on Valentine's Day by stalking and murdering romantic couples this Valentine's Day. No one is safe. Now, based on that premise and from what you saw in that trailer, the mask looks good. Shades of The Collector, if you know what I'm talking about. And the premise is that this guy doesn't like couples getting together, and he stalks them and brutally murders them. The Hard Eyes Killer. They try to build this mythos around this. What do you need to know about this going straight in? It's cheeky. It knows exactly what kind of movie it is. And at first, you may find that the acting, because of that, is a little bit hammy. It walks that line of being, well, this is over the top acting, guys. This is I don't know. I don't know if I like this. But once you realize that, okay, the director's wanting that kind of approach to the acting style because we're dealing with kind of an outlandish scenario here. This killer is stalking lovers for some reason that I guess it does sort of get explained, but it's also kind of like, well, ridiculous things happen with the over the top kills. That's like, okay, well, is it a bit like Jason? Is it a little bit like Nightmare on Elm Street, The Collector, Jigsaw, maybe a slasher a bit in there? It really harkens to be a bit like Scream. Honestly, guys, Scream during Hard Eyes, Scream during Valentine's Day here. And it's not on the caliber of Scream, but it's in that same wheelhouse. And I think if you can just relax and realize, oh, this is just a throwaway fun slasher, they make a couple of winks and nods to you, like, oh, this is an inside joke kind of thing. They have fun with it. And if you can realize that that's what their director was going for, then I think you also will have fun with this. It's a quick, an hour and 37 minutes, so it's like an hour and 30 minutes. It goes by really quick. The actors in this: Olivia Holt, Jordana Brewster, Devon Sawa, and Mason Gooding round out this cast. And I got to tell you, they do a great job. They really do. Uh, Devon Sawa, Final Destination. We haven't seen him in a while. I last saw him in a movie called Hunter x Hunter. I think it's out on Netflix or Tubi or something like that. He's kind of like uh, a wilderness guy that wants to raise his family out in the woods, living off the land kind of thing. And he's teaching his son, the harsh ropes of living in the woods. And then a drifter comes along and, things go awry. But Devon Sawa was good in that. And he proves that he still got chops because he plays the cop in this after the Hard Eyes Killer with Jordana Brewster. And he does a good job in that. Olivia Holt there is the main lead actress. I think you guys might recognize her from
Hey
movies
Miller?
like Totally Killer, where she plays the younger version of the mother in that movie. I think that's the only one that I can think of. That Kiernan Shipka one, where it's kind of like she goes back in time and tries to solve a murder with her younger mother. So that's the only other one that I could think of that she was in. But of course, then the other one that stars in this as the love interest, the token stud, Mason Gooding. And if you don't know who he is from, he was in the Scream movies. So he was in Scream 5 and Scream 6 as Jenna Ortega's kind of love interest in that. And I got to say, in the first movie, Mason Gooding didn't really win me over because he didn't really have a whole lot to do. But in Scream 6, he did. He stepped up his game, and it actually worked for me because him and Jenna Ortega had some good chemistry. And he's got good chemistry with Olivia Holt here in Hard Eyes. And if it wasn't for those two actresses, uh, you know, putting it out there on the screen, their chemistry works, and you want to go along for that ride. Fortunately, at times there's some lulls in the script where they want to go a little too romantic, like they step out of that comfort zone, that wheelhouse of it being kind of like, well, this is just a fun throwaway slasher that you just put your popcorn in. Oh, wait a minute, are you really trying to make some real statements about love here? And it's like, do we really need that in there? It's only an hour and 37 minutes. You're going to forget it the next day, kind of thing, or it may get some cult status. It's a harmless film. It's nothing in there that makes you go, that's kind of gross. So I liked it. And I think it's going to be a fun time for people looking for just a quick thrill during this Valentine's season. So let's go over to my score sheet. Acting, directing, and story out of a possible 2 points each. Cinematography and score out of a possible 1 point. And I got to tell you that the acting, serviceable. Is there anything in there that's really memorable, though? Anything that made me go, oh, yeah. Mason Gooding and Olivia Holt, I think their combined efforts pump it up to 1.5. Directing, competent. There's a lot of winks and nods in there. As I said, the story is fairly straightforward. You're going to be able to figure out who the killer is pretty much really fast. They try to throw in some curveballs in there, but it's kind of, well, I see this somehow. Oh. Some of the twists may work for some people, though. It may. But, I'm a horror aficionado, so I'm like, okay, I saw that one coming too, okay? Cinematography and score, it's dark at times. There's some dark scenes, sequences, and stuff like that. It's framed competently. There's nothing in there, like image-wise, that makes me go, you got to look at it for the cinematography. Score, the soundtrack, people may like and dig. If I were to give it another point for that, maybe up in there. That's where I'm thinking right now. So we're sitting at 4.5. Let's go over to the tomato meter and see what people are saying about this. Hard Eyes. 85% by critics. Any audience scores yet? Let's see if I can refresh this and get some audience members in there. Nope, not yet. 85% by critics. So as I said, it's fairly harmless, guys, and straightforward. It knows what it is. It's not trying to create like this new. It's not trying to reinvent the wheel or anything like that. Bibbiani, William Bibbiani. Hard Eyes seems destined to become a Valentine's Day favorite, the rare horror movie with a great and charming love story, and that even rarer romantic comedy with a great savage serial killer. And it is savage, and that's established in the opening scene. It has a good opening sequence for sure. William Cook did not keep my attention, so maybe a few of those sequences that I'm talking about where they want to talk about love takes you away from, oh yeah, right, we're in a slasher movie and should be running for our lives kind of thing, right? Delaney, it's a funny and suspenseful slasher movie. Definitely don't take it too seriously, but it was fun and enjoyable. I would watch it again for sure. A different spin on a slasher movie, and I think, for the most part, they liked it. So, audience members seem to be echoing what my analysis has been. 85% by critics. I think that'll come down a little bit because there are some things in there that are kind of like, but as I said, it's Jordana Brewster's, I think, best work ever. And I know that she's in the Fast and Furious movies, and here's an example of what I mean by tips and nods to other things. Like look at the names of Jordana Brewster and Devon Sawa's characters here, and they know what they're doing, right? Hobbs and Shaw, right, from the Fast and Furious. So it's like little winks and nods like that you're going to find peppered throughout the script and what people are doing and saying. They're kind of like, oh, well, that's kind of funny. Okay. So you're going to get little laughs like that. And it's a pretty harmless ride at the movies. I do want to talk about Mason Gooding here, but I will as soon as I wrap up my score sheet here, because I think it's time to wrap this up and finalize what I'm thinking. For watchability factor, if you like horror movies, you're going to want to check this out. It plays well in the theater. Because it's dark and you're in a dark theater, you can see a lot more stuff. There is some more funny stuff in there. So I would recommend it a little bit more, 6 out of 10. Could I possibly give anything more in here, though? As I said, some of the score in there could. The story, does it set itself up for franchise? It's possible. Directing, I'm going to give directing one more point here. And then I'm going to give, because I said a lot of people I think will like the score. I'll give the score an extra point there, a full point. And I think that's where we're sitting, 7 out of 10 for Hard Eyes. Yeah, because I'm going to give that extra point to the director because, as I said, there's a point in the directing where the acting is kind of like, guys, this is perilously getting close to cringe. But then you realize there's a purpose for this, right? Because we're dealing with an audacious scenario that's just like, well, okay, all right. But you go along with it because it's executed well enough. They know not to push that button too far. But it is pushing that button, and that will be off-putting for some. But I feel like that's where I want to stand. 7 out of 10 for Hard Eyes. It's a harmless, fun little film to watch this weekend and get into that festive spirit for Valentine's Day. All right. Now, I said I wanted to talk quickly about Mason Gooding here because it's taken some time for me to warm up to him as an actor because in Scream 5, he didn't really have that much to do. And I was like, okay, he's there for the looks, kind of thing. It took time. Like it took time for me to, and the acting, especially from her, who is it, Jasmine Savoy Brown or whatever, not very good. They're over the top in that movie, and that wasn't executed all that well. But he won me over in the sixth, and all throughout Hard Eyes here, I'm looking at Mason Gooding, and he's got the stuff. He's got it. And it just got me thinking, looking at him throughout the scenes, and it made me think about, yeah, the camera likes him. It made me think about that J.J. Abrams movie that was trying to get off the ground, Black Superman, right? Where they were going to tell, not the Val Zod story, but they were just going to tell the story. I don't know why J.J. Abrams threw out the Val Zod story. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole again, but it got me thinking about that project that they were trying to make, and they still say it's going to come to fruition at some point. I don't think it is, but you know what? You watch Hard Eyes and you think, could you see him as a possible Superman? And you're like, no. You're going to be exactly like me. No. He could play both Clark Kent and Superman, right? Right? No, but maybe he could. So that's what I was thinking in the back of my mind. Because as I said, I'm a movie fan. I'm a movie buff. And I'm always looking at possible possibilities out there. And I would throw Mason Gooding for a possible Superman. You'll know what I mean when you watch this movie here, Totally Killer, and you see some of the sequences where he's, fighting the bad guy, trying to be suave. He's obviously got the physique that he could pull it off. And that's just my extra little bit of analysis that I'd like to add to this review. All right, Hard Eyes, what do you guys think? Did you see it? Let me know in the comments below and we will talk about it. You're watching Mirror Domains. If you like this kind of stuff and you want to see more, come join us here on the channel because we do things like full trailer reactions for upcoming movies like Fight or Flight with Josh Hartnett, right? We take a look at the new Smurfs movie. No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't, James. But hey, it is what it is. Come join us here. You're watching Mirror Domains.